Okay, welcome back everybody. So we're getting down the final wire of this 5-week internet course. I put up an announcement today about people that need to take a makeup exam, so be sure to take a look at that, and you know what you have to do to get that done. And so for this week, the thing you wanna look out for this week is discussion 3. We'll post that shortly after we get done here today on Monday. It'll be chapters 7, 8, and 9, and then your third assignment will also be posted today, so you can take a look at that. Everything will be due this Friday, 11:59 p.m. So everything will be due. Your discussion, your assignment will be due this week.
500 words for the discussion.
Yes. Don't forget the discussion, minimum 500 words. A lot of people were concerned about the scores that they got for the discussion. Well, 500 word minimum, and you wrote, 20 fucking words. So there you go. Think through it. We're asking things that give you some substance to think about and write about. So, put a little meat into it this time, and think through it carefully if you weren't crazy about your score last time. And then that's going to take us into next week, which is really the last week of the class. And we'll get into discussion 4. There will not be an assignment next week. There will not be an assignment because you have your second test, so you have time to prepare for that, for your second test, which will cover chapters 7 through 11, and we'll send you some reminders about that. So I think I should do it for some of the announcements. I also posted on my announcement that this Wednesday I will not have my teleconference office hours, that you should send me a note and let's just set up an appointment to either I can call you, or come into the office if you're around campus anyway. We can do a teleconference, or you can come by, but for this week, it's gonna be better to do an appointment, because Wednesday is gonna be a busy day, okay? That's also, I sent that out as an announcement. Okay, so today we wanna talk about a couple of related topics, and this is actually quite similar to what we did last week, because these things kind of all work together, these pathways. And again, as I mentioned last week, for exams, you have your book, you have everything available. So I want to kind of hit broader strokes. And this is actually a topic that the first chapter 7 hits a topic that we don't often, think about very much in the United States. Because we tend to associate it with the third world experience of other cultures, other countries, third world countries. Countries on the, often called the periphery. And secondly, we definitely don't tend to associate it much with mental health. So let's talk about that. And a way to do it is to go around the table and say, hey Colton, what'd you have for lunch?
I had
Tuna.
a yogurt and special K-bar.
Oh my gosh, how nutritious. A special K-bar and yogurt. Very nice. Mateen, what'd you have for lunch, for breakfast? What have you eaten today?
Actually, I ate a cracker.
Mateen ate one fucking cracker. What? Hey, poor guy.
Not some crackers, a
A
cracker.
cracker. Ritz.
Mateen is our Turkish student. We asked Mateen.
Hi guys.
We asked Mateen. You can do that anytime you want, Chelsea. We asked Mateen what kind of cracker he had. He said Ritz. So all day long you've had one Ritz cracker.
And strawberry frappuccino.
Oh, a strawberry frappuccino. Okay, that takes
Classic.
care of it. All right,
Yeah.
very good. I'm not even going to ask why that's all you've eaten today. You must be hungry. Mike, what have you had?
Hard-boiled egg and an energy drink.
Wow.
You guys are not eating
A
enough.
hard-boiled egg and an energy drink for our vet. Why? Just
I don't
Too
eat
busy?
before class because food makes me, I want to be more alert.
yeah, for
I
sure,
eat after.
for sure. Yasmin, what have you had today? The nice Lebanese breakfast, big Lebanese breakfast.
No, I wish.
Is it Lebanese or Libyan? What the hell are you?
Lebanese?
Lebanese. Yeah, I was right the first.
And
It's all the same
Egyptian,
shit. Whatever.
Both.
Uh,
Both Egyptian and Lebanese.
Egyptian and Lebanese. Have you had any Egyptian or Lebanese food
Not
today?
recently.
No. Yeah. What'd you have today?
You're looking at it.
Nice cup of coffee.
Iced coffee and crumble
No, very nice. South African, what have you had today?
I had a yogurt with some fruit for breakfast and a salad for lunch.
Yogurt, fruit, everybody's eating so healthy around here. Everybody's eating so healthy. All right, well, one of the things that happens here is, how many of you know in the class right now? Oh, Kelsey, what did you eat?
I had some pizza.
Pizza, nice, nice.
You
What flavors?
ruined it.
What flavors?
Pepperoni from work.
Oh, yeah, that's good pizza over there.
Yeah.
Can we tell people where you work?
No.
No, you don't want people
I
stalking
won't
you.
be there for long.
How many of you know when you're going to eat next? I have a pretty good idea when you're going to eat again. You don't know when you're going to eat next?
Flexible.
What do you mean exactly?
Like, when are you going to eat a meal next? When are you going to have your next meal? Do you know?
I don't know.
Like tonight?
Yeah, it will be tonight, I think.
That's what I mean. So you know that tonight you're going to have a meal.
Oh, yeah,
And there'll be something there for you to eat.
yeah.
All right. What do you think you're going to have?
That's.
Because you got to have something good if all you eat is a Ritz cracker,
I
man.
cook at home generally.
Okay.
Sometimes I cook meat, rice, I make salad.
Okay.
I'm a good cook.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
You want to
Such-
have a party?
I'm not-
Okay. Did you say something, Mike?
I said flex, that's the point, that we know
Yeah.
we can eat later.
Yeah.
But
So-
if you're, like, those people that you're gonna talk about, they don't know, they might not.
Clever young man. Clever young man. I'm sure when you were in the service, sometimes you were out in the field, right?
More than a day without food.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, when you're out in the field, you could go a long stretch without eating anything. So, so the word is used is food insecurity. Okay, and it has several dimensions, as the book talks about: quality, quantity. What is the other thing? Oh, yeah, of course. Quality, quantity. Nutritional value. So, food scarcity is a term that is a more recent term used in the United States. Consider the United States situations where any of these three are lacking, right? Either the quality of food, the quantity of food, or the nutritional value of that food. There's a figure 7.1 in your book, which, let me look at it. Figure 17.77-1 does a nice job, and I think I'd like you to sort of have a sense of what's happening in this diagram. And what it tries to do is to connect how food insecurity sort of exists at a societal level, but then is transferred down to the individual level. We have typically noted that food insecurity, okay. What might it mean by a low quality of food?
Like Taco Bell when they got sued for their beef only being like 20% actual beef.
Yeah, for sure, right? Lousy quality food. Yeah.
Open markets with like blankets of flies / maggots.
Okay.
It's the only thing around to buy.
Mike is our vet who, we have thanked for his service, who has been around. And so I would imagine in some of the places you've been, there may be open markets.
And it's not, maybe it's not sanitary.
It's absolutely unsanitary, and so again, that gets us thinking about food insecurity in other parts of the world. But also in the United States, ongoing research showing that you could go to a marketplace in a very poor neighborhood in the United States. You might be in a poor neighborhood in the United States where the sanitary conditions of those small shops, small diners are not like what they might be in, like, say, a suburb or the H-E-B near Rogers Ranch, right? Where the standards of what's in those stores is much higher. So the quality of the food. Are you eating high processed, cheap hamburger meat that is frozen in a box, or are you able to actually buy 100% pure, lean ground beef ground turkey then you can then make your own hamburgers, right? So that speaks to the quality of food. What about quantity? What about quantity of food?
Yeah.
One Ritz cracker, one Ritz cracker. Quantity of food implies that around the dinner table, if there is a dinner table, there's just not enough to feed everyone. As a kid growing up, and like many of our students, maybe some of our students, I could probably speak to, I could probably speak to all three of these, but I can speak to quantity because in my household growing up, there were 6 kids, right? So, and we were very poor Colombian immigrants in South Florida, and my father was a mechanic. My mother didn't work. She barely speaks English to this day. And and then my brother got a girl pregnant, brought her home, so now we got to feed them, right? So we had this house full of people. So quantity of food was an issue in my household. I mean, when I was a kid, I often went to bed at night kind of hungry. I mean, my parents did the best they could, but that's just what it is, right? There's just not enough food to fulfill everybody's, everybody's hunger. And then, of course, this one is becoming more and more important in the United States. The nutritional value of the food that we eat. One of the interesting things to think about in the United States, we're one of the societies in the evolution of human cultures that we have, us, the United States, and other industrialized societies, we have found this interesting little formula. Think back. If you think back in terms of social evolution, the poor, in terms of their body composition, the very poor have often been what?
Thin.
Like beyond thin, right? They're gaunt. They're not eating. They're on the verge of starvation. We have managed in industrial societies to almost flip, not 100%, but we kind of managed to flip that evolutionary cycle. Where in our society and many other industrialized countries, the poorest people are also the most obese, right? The poor are the ones that suffer the most from illnesses related to obesity. Kidney disease, heart disease, et cetera, et cetera. Why would that be?
What's the
Because bad
food?
food is the cheap food.
Yeah, it's the
Fast
nutrition.
food, they can feed their whole family for like $10.
Yeah, it's the nutritional value of the food that they do have access to, often in poor communities. So in poor communities, it might be more difficult to buy fresh vegetables. It might be more difficult to buy fresh fruits. But go into a poor neighborhood, and let me tell you, drive around San Antonio and do this as a little experiment. Drive around poor communities in San Antonio, you're not going to find Jason's Deli. You don't find Jason's Deli in poor neighborhoods. You just don't, right? But what do you find in poor neighborhoods?
Churches,
You're gonna find
McDonald's.
some, man, you're gonna find some Popeyes, you're gonna find some McDonald's, you're gonna find fatty, high processed, and yes, as Harriet says, also very cheap food, right? But how can we then connect this idea of food insecurity to psychological distress? Any ideas? Food insecurity to mental health issues of mental health.
Listen, you go.
Well, the quality of the food probably doesn't affect your moods very well. Like, I mean, yeah, if you're eating like shitty food, you probably feel shitty a lot of the time.
There's no question.
Also, if you're a parent in a household where you're not able to provide like necessarily better food, or that's just a stress on you, it could be psychological stressor on the family itself, is to feed your kids or household.
Absolutely, I think both work. If you didn't hear Harriet's response, it might work on two levels, right? Where the individual is affected because you're not putting proper nourishment into your body. If you don't put proper nourishment into your body, the physiological aspects of functioning aren't there, right? Poor food intake might lead to the kinds of chronic physiological conditions